Hey there, Happy New Year. I'm Anthony Romano, and this video is going to tell you the best hacks so that you can lower your appetite and perform a prolonged fast, so a 24-hour fast or longer. Now, the idea for this video came from a comment from Savage Steven. Thank you, Steven. You're a savage. Thank you for all your support on these videos as well, Steven, and everybody else in the comments. But the main topic here is not maintaining a prolonged fast, because a lot of people have great advice on that, electrolyte consumption. There was even a response from Wayfarer who said if you get keto fat adapted first, it'll be way easier, and that's a great piece of advice as well. But the point is, this is not about maintaining the fast, this is about making it easier to enter a prolonged fast, okay? So there's some hacks here that people aren't going to throw at you, but I will. And also on that note, if you want to get the best hacks for fat loss, Keto Shred program is still on the launch sale, and I've extended it into a New Year sale so you can get this at the absolute rock bottom price that I'll ever sell it for. So go to my website, romanoketo.com, and get the Keto Shred program. Guaranteed best fat loss results of your life. And, all you have to do is put up with 3 days of quitting sugar, and from there it's easy, and I have strategies to make it easier on the same level of sophistication as this video. So, let's get into this video. So, the best way for me to start this video is to start by, mentioning some of the ideas that was mentioned from this commenter, Steven. So, Steven had mentioned, tea, CBD, fish oil, apple cider vinegar are those good tools to enter the fast. And by the way, this guy's young. I'm not going to reveal his age, but he's a young guy, and he already has a load of knowledge for his age, way more than I ever did. So the point is, some of those strategies are good, but as I break them down, you'll realize what the true variables are that we're working with here. So apple cider vinegar is a great blood sugar stabilizer, and this is something that can make fasting easier, but it's not even the biggest tip yet. So people say MCT oil, apple cider vinegar, those will help keep blood sugar stable. They'll provide the brain with ketones from the MCT oil, which is a great tool to make fasting easier. Now, fish oil is also great for anti-inflammation, CBD as well, especially when we're talking about prolonged fast. You definitely can benefit by taking the CBD oil orally when you're multiple days into a fast. That's going to massively de-inflame your body and allow better processes of autophagy, which is cellular cleansing and healing, to occur. So basically, if you consume CBD during a prolonged fast, you will get even more benefit as far as injury, healing, and a lot of other problems. But taking it in the beginning isn't going to do much for you. So and tea, if there's caffeine, might dehydrate you a little bit because the caffeine's a diuretic. So the real thing you want to jump into, the best ones are going to be stuff for blood sugar control. Now, the best thing that I actually recommend for doing a prolonged fast is exogenous ketones. So this is a very powerful way to flood your body with ketones and basically trick it into thinking that it made those ketones. Now, don't get me wrong, MCT oil and bulletproof coffees and things like that are good ways to get, deeper levels of ketosis as well, but this is a bigger move. Now, granted, I've worked with people with, brain injuries and whatnot who need MCT oil of a certain form, and that seems to provide better benefit for the brain in healing because they provide quicker dosing of ketones to the brain specifically from a certain form. But in general, exogenous ketones are the biggest cheat code for basically most purposes keto. Granted, on a regular basis, a bulletproof coffee is a far lighter way to, well, it still is powerful, but to basically start off the day and get a little ketone boost. It's just that this is the deep end of the pool, exogenous ketones. And I don't get paid from this company, Athletic Alliance. It's just that there's very few companies out there that make good ketone supplements, and this is one of them. And, in the future, I definitely intend to do some myself. But the point is, links to good products are always in the description if you do want to get some of the things I talk about. And they're generally they're always ones that I will fully vet the labels for, etc. But exogenous ketones, that is the biggest cheat code, because when your body is in the fasted state, it is flooded with ketones. You are at very high ketone levels, longer than that of nutritional ketosis, so the ketogenic diet, because your body has to upregulate how much fuel it's taking from stored fat, and then you're going to get higher levels of ketones, right? Now, granted, more ketones does not always equal more fat loss, but people doing prolonged fasting are not always fully interested in fat loss. They're doing it for healing, they're doing it for a lot of things. Now, exogenous ketones, at first, you will want to take them the night, you're going into the fast. Because what's going to happen is your body's going to think that it made those ketones and it's going to use them accordingly. So if all of a sudden your body has a shitload of ketones, like 5.0 or 4.0 millimolars per deciliter, and then it runs through them all, like granted, you're not going to burn any of your own body fat while you are running through these ketones. That's just full on, facts there. But after you finish them, your body's going to be closer to entering ketosis at deeper levels. Now granted, in order to make that really effective, you want to burn out your glucose before using these. So it would be better to exercise on the day as well, because your body's not going to enter ketosis until you clear out your liver glycogen. And all of the benefits from a prolonged fast are going to come after your liver has been cleared out of carbs. So if I'm doing a prolonged fast for 24 hours, but I just came from Christmas dinner and I ate a load of carbohydrates and, Nona made her cannolis and I ate them all, then if I filled up my liver glycogen, I can fast for 24 hours. I might not even enter ketosis. I mean, granted, I will, because I've been doing keto for like 10 years. So I probably would have burnt out. I probably don't have liver glycogen filled up all the time. And I have a pretty high level of adaptation. But the point is, for the regular person who's starting this and wants to know what to do for a prolonged fast, exercise and then take some exogenous ketones. That's a great way to get into this. But keep in mind, you're still not going to enter ketosis deeply until you burn out your liver glycogen entirely. You will still get small productions of ketones, but for people who are new to this, the easiest way, as was mentioned in the comment from Wayfarer, the response, is to get keto fat adapted first. Why? Because if somebody is eating carbohydrates and then they cut out all food for 24 hours, what's going to happen is, even if they start producing more ketones, which they will as time goes on, because the body starts preemptively doing this to prepare you in case you run out of fuel, if you still have liver glycogen, it's going to be slowly dripping into your bloodstream. And basically, that's going to make it a rather unpleasant experience, okay? That's why people get so hungry and get so hangry and all fatigued and whatnot, because the blood sugar is still being dripped in when they're abstaining from food. Now, on that note, some key things that you have to know, some foundations here. You absolutely do need electrolytes. Sodium and potassium, I recommend about, a quarter teaspoon to a half teaspoon of both in 2 liters of water. Sodium and potassium chloride, not pills, okay? Those will give you stomach ulcers, so don't take pills or I'll yell at you in the comments. So, on that note, exogenous ketones, another great reason practicality-wise for why they're so effective is because they come naturally packaged with electrolytes. In order to make the ketones have the appropriate pH that isn't too acidic, they have to attach them to electrolytes. And once you start supplementing with one electrolyte, that's going to deplete another electrolyte. So they have to put them all in there so they don't deplete you. So you get your sodium, you get magnesium, you get the electrolytes in these products, and it just makes it easier for a lot of people. Now, on that note, absolutely do not start off with too high of a dose of this. Do not, okay? I cannot stress that to you too much. I've never had problems with this, but people might have to shit themselves if they have too much of this, because it might be too much electrolyte, too much ketone, too much beta-hydroxybutyrate entering your blood at once, entering your stomach at once, that your body might say there's too much energy coming in and just shit it all out, and you don't want that problem. So start off with a very conservative dose, half scoop perhaps, okay? Depending on which brand you go with. But in general, you might not notice the full deep end of the effects from a half scoop the first time you try out a prolonged fast. But, it's still better than nothing, and at the end of the day, as time goes on, your stomach gets acclimated to consuming higher amounts of electrolyte, consuming higher amounts of BHB. Then you will have less problems, and over time, you will be able to take a full scoop and then really be able to fast for a long time. Now, another caveat here is that when you do take exogenous ketones, what's going to happen is your body's going to use those ketones first, right? Now, if somebody is already in a prolonged fast for like 2 days, and then you take ketones again, rather than before starting the fast, your body, it's not going to break the fast. It's going to dampen the fast if you take ketone salts, so exogenous ketones. But again, your body's going to use those ketones before its own. So you want to use the ketones before entering the fast. Now, granted, you can still take it and you're going to have slightly lower levels of autophagy, cellular cleansing, while you have ketones during the fast. That's the ultimate cheat way to just ensure that you get a fast in place, a prolonged fast. But, would it be better to just start off with them, burn through those ketones, and burn through your glucose, and then go into the fast, consume an adequate amount of electrolytes? There you go, you're set. That is the easiest way. Now, I'm going to throw some extra tips at you here, just because that's already a great starting protocol for trying to get the appetite suppression to do a prolonged fast. But let's get into some extra tips here. So, some extra tips, as mentioned before, get keto adapted first. If you get nutritional ketosis in place first, fasting will become far easier. Why? Because they are the same state. Okay? Fasting, outright, is just the deeper end of the pool. When you eat no carbohydrates, you enter the ketogenic state. That is nutritional ketosis, dietary ketosis. But if you're not eating anything, you're not eating sugar. So these are the same state, just different levels of the pool. And you can still get to pretty high ketones from eating food, but deeper ends of the pool come when you are fully fasted. Now again, blood sugar control is a great way to get an idea of how easy this is going to be for you. So if you're somebody who's very overweight, starting off will require more electrolytes. You can watch my other videos to, get more ideas on that. You can get the Keto Shred program to get full protocols of these things. But the thing is, you don't need to fully do a prolonged fast all the time, but it does have benefit, loads of benefit, especially when it relates to fat burning, but also to health and cleansing. So on that note, you don't necessarily want to take other anti-inflammatories like an omega-3 fish oil during a fast. I mean, granted, they're always going to be beneficial, but there are some studies that show that consuming anti-inflammatory and antioxidizing supplements during a prolonged fast may downregulate how much of your body's own anti-inflammatory and antioxidizing, processes occur. So, granted, have I still done plenty of prolonged fasts where I've taken an anti-inflammatory or an antioxidant? Yes. Do I think it makes much of a difference? Not much, but this is my own anecdotal. I'm trying to reference the bigger guns scientifically first. Is coffee okay? Yes, it is. But keep in mind, the fasting extremists will tell you don't have anything during a fast besides electrolytes and water. So yeah, is it going to be slightly better if you eliminate the coffee? Yes. But if you consume black coffee, are you still going to be in the fastest state? Hell yes. Now, one thing you have to realize too, you're not going to lose muscle. I can get into this, but I have other videos on that topic. I'm going to tell you more tips to actually make the experience easier. More blood sugar control. So you could supplement with a chromium. You could supplement with, again, apple cider vinegar. And in fact, that will probably be beneficial for your stomach pH and also for getting a little bit of probiotic bacteria, which again, people might say is going to ruin the quality of your fast because you're breaking down the bacteria. It's a negligible difference. So I'm letting you know that it exists, but does it really make that much of a problem? Probably not. Now, the last tip that I'll throw at you here, because it can't go ignored, is fat fasting. So I have videos on fat fasting. Maybe this is in that playlist as well. But the point is, fat fasting is when you actually do consume caloric amounts of food, right, from pure fats or oils. So the best way to do this is bulletproof coffee, bulletproof tea. And, that's, of course, going to somewhat diminish the benefits of autophagy, but very negligible, if at all. So again, whereas the same methodology from the ketone supplements is going to be used with bulletproof coffees, or fat fasting. Why? Because your body's going to use that fuel first. However, with fat fasting, pure oils, those will get digested in your large intestine, and that will be a much slower digestion of the actual fuel. So it's going to cause basically no insulin effect, no enzymes are going to have to be released in your stomach, right? But eventually it will have to get emulsified in your intestine. So fat fasting is another great tool to make prolonged fasting easier. And, I started off doing a lot of prolonged fasting years ago, trying to take this very extremist approach where I'd only do the electrolytes and water. And, basically you'll still get a lot of benefit, but is it easier? I do a lot of fasts nowadays where I will prolong fast for 5-6 days. And, maybe on the third day I'll have some bulletproof coffee and a bulletproof tea or something, right? So granted, is it going to somewhat diminish the autophagy benefits? Yes. But is it going to make the adherence to the actual fasting better? Absolutely. So, granted, you're biting the bullet when you do that approach, right? Or if you take ketone supplements during the fast. But taking them before is a great strategy, and I would recommend using ketones to start, like before fast, over the bulletproof coffees. But hey, one great way to transition into this as well is by doing some sort of bulletproof coffee, bulletproof tea routine, and fat fasting in general to slowly ease your body into this, okay? Because you need more blood sugar control, and, if you're coming from a very high carbohydrate diet without, a high presence of fats or a bulletproof coffee, right? Saturated fats specifically, then your blood sugar is going to have less crutches, basically, to slowly transition you into this. So I'm going to cut it off there. Of course, there are other supplements you could take. You could take a vitamin C. Again, you don't want too many antioxidants during the fast, but, other things to basically support your adrenals. There's a lot of other things you could do, but this is the best way to make it easy to suppress the appetite and enter the fast. So like this video, leave me some of the questions down below in the comments, and I will do my best to get back to you. Take advantage of the Keto Shred Program sale, and besides that, go watch some more of my videos and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Anthony Romano. Peace.